from Jules Designs at JT Creations.
So we're making all these out of all these. So watch the video. See? And it makes pretty labels. And you can use anything. So what I do is I first find a set of stamps that I want to use, and I take them off. And I just put them there. I just pick them up randomly. Got some words here. And that one's a bit, it doesn't matter. We'll use them all. So first of all, we'll go with the big one. So I've got some vellum here. When you're stamping on vellum, you need a good archival ink, and I'm going to use my Stays On for this one. And I'm looking for my stamp block. Doesn't quite fit, but I don't mind. And with Stays On, you always get that extra little bit that keeps your Stays On from drying out, so always make sure that's back on. Just stamp your stamp, and I've got a silicone mat under this, so and there we are. And then we'll do wrong ones. We'll do some boob page as well, and we'll do it with this one. Nope, just stamped my mat. And then put that on there like that. And we'll just put that one over there because we've used that one. And then I think this is a flower one. And these labels can be used as embellishments on pockets. If you've got Stays On, you can put a bit of watercolour over them just to give it a coloured background. You can colour them in with pens, pencils. And this is a bit of a scrap buster session. One there. All right, I'm going to carry on with this one, and we'll do, not sure what this one is. That's the whole surprise. Until you stamp it, you don't know what it is. If you take them off, you don't know whether you've got it upside down, but it doesn't matter because you just turn the label round. And there we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little stamp block, and what I usually do is I do that. I think this says destination, so I'm just fitting it on the scrap bit of paper and doing that, and then I'll ink it up. I think I've got it the right way. If I haven't, I haven't. Doesn't matter. And there we are. So we've got that one, so we can put that one over there. So what we'll do is we'll put these away. Stamp block. Put that up there, out the way. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hand, and that's something we've probably all got loads of, hand sanitizer. I know I have. And it also removes the glue, because I use this mat for gluing. I really should use old book pages that I'm not going to use, you know, the bits that are too fragile to use as pockets and pages as a glue book, but I don't. We've got all these. And that's on a bit of gold card that I was cutting out labels. So what I do is I cut out these foil labels on my scan and cut. I was making rusty labels, and there is a video for that. But I stamp on the other side, so I'm just... And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out and ink round them. So I won't bore you with all my cutting out, but we'll do some. And I hand cut them. You can cut them right to the lines if you want, or you can just leave a gap. Use some of this. So there's one. And there we are. So that's a lot less scrap than what we did have. Just emptying this into my bucket. And now we'll ink round them, and I think we'll use Vintage Photo. And again, I'll speed this up. I could ink and cut that fast, not to bore you, but as you can see, I used a circle punch on some of these stamps, and it's just the, I think it's a centimetre, it's a 1/2 inch punch, and that makes that. But you can see all the little stamps now don't look like, they're all framed with ink, so they look quite nice. And the same with these ones that we just stamped images on that weren't tickets or anything, because and on book pages it no longer looks like a book page with a random stamp on it. It's framed because you've inked round it. You don't have to ink round it, you can do pen round it. But all these tickets, well, labels now, look like labels, and it's all because they've been cut out and just a little bit of colour around. You can use watercolour pens, anything, even the, you know, the vellum with just they don't look like they've got random stamps, they do look like labels. That's just half a stamp that we did, so you don't have to do the full stamp. And that one, I mean, that'll look nice on something, and I think that's upside down, that's the right way, and that's that one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a pocket with a flap. All right, so we've got some card. Now I want this 4 inches. Put it at 5 because what I want is a 1/2 inch again, turn it round. It's too long, but okay. And this is quite thick craft card. It's the cardboardy type. I think it's about 280 GSM. It could be even 300 GSM. So that's my pocket. I want a 1/2 inch at the bottom of the pocket. So I'll fold that over. Now I want the pocket about 3 inches tall, so I'm going to put a score line. So that's the actual pocket, but what I want is I want a flap that's going to come down. So I'm just going to trim that at, I'm just going to mark it. Alright, so now we've got them out the way. So what I want to do now is I want to cut down that 3 inch mark. And I just want to mitre that up to that corner a little bit. The same. And just trim. And then we're going to mitre these corners out. And that will go around there, and that will go around there. Now what I want to do is I want a fancy line. Now what I do have is I have some weird looking rulers. And that's a bit too much. Now do I want a fancy line like that? Do I want a fancy line going up that way? Yeah. Or do I want it with this one? Right, we're going to use that one. It's easier to cut out. So I'm just drawing round it. Coffee journal, the little coffee shop. So I'm going to decide on the page first. So I'm just going to burnish these edges down first. And burnish that one down. And before I do anything else, I'm going to ink around the edges. Now what I want here is I want a pocket. So the bit that I cut off, okay, so this is 2 inches by just under 4 inches. And it should go just there with a tiny little border round, and we'll ink so what I'll do is I'll measure this for you so you can see. So this is, the whole thing's 5 inches, so we've got 4 inches, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and this is 2.5 inches. So you want 3, so you want a piece of card that's 7 inches by 5 inches, and then you score it in 1/2 inch that side, 1/2 inch that side, 1/2 inch at the bottom, 3 inches there, and then fold it in like that. And I want to put a thumb notch in this, and normally I would bend it, but it's quite, so I just want it just a little bit under there. That's my middle. So just line the middle up a little bit. I just want a little tiny thumb notch. I don't want a great big huge one. Just enough. And then we can stick that down. Right, we'll see if I can get any glue out of this. Yep. So I'm just gluing on 3 sides. So I hold the side that I don't want glued, otherwise I'll glue it. And if you can get a straight line, I'm better off doing a straight line when it's on the table without a pencil under my hand. Just a thin. And then we'll put that on there. Somewhere I've gone a bit wonky, but it doesn't matter. And that comes down there. Now what I do want is I want like a policy fastener. And what I was going to use was these little, these are New Orleans little labels, but I think what I will do is I'll cut some just out of this spare card. And fix it to it, just makes it that little bit thicker. So do we want that there? I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke the middles in these. I'm just using a rubber. I'm guessing and right. Now obviously I've stuck the pocket down there, so I can't put that through the pocket, but that's not a problem. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put, I've got pin width long legs and a pin width short legs, and I want that about there. So I'm going to poke that in there. And open the legs out. The legs are stuck. Ah, they're not. I'm going to turn it round sideways. And I've got some butterfly tape. Just lightly putting it on, and then putting it down that way, and then that way it's going into the legs. That's better. So now what I want is I want another piece of this. It doesn't matter what size it is. In fact, what I might do is I might put a label over it. Have a look. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to find the middle of this. We'll put that there. And we'll put the little short-legged one in here. And open the legs. You don't want to have it too tight. You need some room to get some twine round this bit here. So what I usually do is I usually poke my like that. And then glue. Then we'll just place that there. Oh, and I've got that the wrong way around. That's why I put it round. Because this is the beauty of nature. And we want it down a little bit. And that and just making sure that that's stuck on well. And there we have it. Then we can just put some nice little labels on, and I'm going to put the labels on before I put anything else on. And I've got some other labels here with numbers. I've got blue ones and all sorts. I think we might have blue one, although there's no blue in that. There's red. But I'm still going to have a little bit of blue, so I think we'll have that there. I do want to have a little bit of a I think we'll have that there. No. Did I have that there? No, I don't want another round one because we've got round ones there. I think we'll have that there. I think we'll have that. Nope. Postal stamp, I think. No. I think we'll have a little bit of boot page. And I think I'll have that there. Going to have that there. Holding that down. That there, and I think we'll have this little destination there. Yep. So I'm just going to stick this down. And we'll put that. Sometimes I have the stamps hanging off the edge, but we need to stick that right down because I don't want it to get lifted by the twine. This one's going here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put it a little bit down and then we'll just trim that bit off there, and I will re-ink that. This one was going here, wasn't it? That over a bit. Now I have got some reddish kind of stamps. I think we'll have that there, but I'm going to ink round it first. It's got a little bit of red on it. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put this one down first because I might change it once that gets on it. And when you're gluing vellum down, if it's stamped over, you won't notice so much, but sometimes vellum shows the glue underneath. We've got some of these labels are bits of card, some of them are bits of paper, so they're all different sort of like levels, so you get all the different textures. And we're going to have that one there. Now let me have a look. Do I want that one there, or do I want it there? I think I'm going to have it there. I might put another one on. I'm going to have a look through my little labels. And we'll trim this off. And if you want, you can use little bits of bits that you've cut off on other bits. But I don't want to. I'm quite happy with that. I think what I might use is I might use my homemade stamps, number stamps, to do it. And I'm just putting that to the edge. There we are. And I'll do a 2. And what I'm doing is I'm looking underneath to make sure that it's near enough a straight line. And do we want a 5? Yeah. 5, 2, 3. And I'll link the video below where the stamps. I don't show you making these are just die cut numbers. So there we are, we've got 5, 2, 3. So then tie it in a knot. And then all you do is you just run that round 2 or 3 times in that journal. And when I put it down, I'm just going to ink round it, round the whole thing. And then I have my bottom flap on the top. Just makes it easier. So it's an envelope pocket, kind of pocket with a flap. And what I probably will do is, before this video comes out, I will do a freebie. So if you look on my Ko-fi site for freebies, I'll do 2 different sizes. I'll do this size and I'll do a different size. And then I'm just putting that down. I'm just making sure I've got a little bit of a border there and the same border there. And then we'll just pin that down. And there we have a beautiful little pocket. Then we can pop things into the back. And we've got some of these now, because I've done another 4 digitals since then. And then you can put these in there with some little bits and pieces, and then there we are, and that's all you do. So I hope you get something out of this. But yeah, check out my freebie Ko-fi, because I probably will do a freebie on this, and I'll post this on the Tuesday. So yeah, you can guarantee that it's definitely a freebie on my Ko-fi site. So this is the Treasured Tuesday. I will do a template. I'll do 2 different sizes. I'll do one that's 5 inches and a bit taller, and this one's the 4 inches by 3 inches. And I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.